is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. And you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change.
Unbelievable start to this fight.
Gave it to a good job.
Vicious right hand. And the referee has already stopped the fight. Mamma mia! Matisse, and fires off the right hand. Jose goes down. Mora has stopped the fight. Lucas Matisse has won. He knocks him down in the sweat with a beautiful right uppercut. Wow!
I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back.
We all know Fury, you just a phony, man. This is just for act. You know where I am, you know what time, you know what place. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll come in your backyard, baby, for that, my man.
Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
Gonzalez drops Bonner for the lethal left hook.
He's hurt. He's hurt bad, guys.
He was rattled by that left hook by Gonzalez in round one. Goes down again. Mamma mia! Gonzalez has done it. Right hand by Funfa. Coming forward. Stevenson bending over. Stevenson goes down with a straight right hand. And drops Kowalski for the first time in his career.
To set up the game, not just take the legs out from the guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We just got off the media conference call with Conor McGregor and Dana White, and we learned a lot so far of what's going to be taking place on next week in the whole entire event, right? Floyd said that this is just not a fight. It's an event. And in talking to Conor McGregor today, Conor made some really good points. He addressed the Malignaggi situation. Not only did he address the Malignaggi situation, but he also addressed, him watching RSS and a lot more things that we're going to talk about throughout today's show. Now, let's start with McGregor. And what is it that Conor feels as though he's going to do in this fight in particular? And what a lot of people don't understand and what they have not come to grips with is the simple fact that Conor is a very smart guy. He really comes from nothing. He's a strong fighter, has a really high IQ, and he's willing to take the risk, right? And that's pretty much all that Dana White was saying, that he never worked with a guy. And the reason why he called him the unicorn is because he never worked with a guy who put himself in position to do the things that this guy has done. Really. And the fact that Conor is taking on the likes of Floyd Mayweather coming from the UFC, a lot of people are not respecting the fact that Conor is a brilliant fighter. They're not respecting him in reference to what it is that he do in the MMA ring, and can it transverse to the boxing world. Now, in particular, I was talking to a fighter today, and shouts out to James Storps. He's a former MMA fighter, but he pointed out some good things with Conor McGregor when we watched film on McGregor today. And when we watched film on McGregor today, he showed me some things that could perhaps pose as maybe a threat to Mayweather. We're not saying that he's going to beat Mayweather, but we were saying in particular what it is that he could do to Floyd. And he was showing me in the fight with, I believe it was Eddie Alvarez, how he was able to land really good shots and being patient by taking the jab away. And do we believe that's going to happen with Floyd? That I don't know. Conor taking a jab away from Floyd when we all know Floyd loves to go to the body is going to be something that's going to be very brilliant and intact come fight night, right? Well, outside of that, when we talk about also what it is that Conor talked about throughout the media interview was he talked about, for one, All Access. They asked him, did he watch All Access? And he did say that he did tune in. He tuned into the first episode, the second one, which he really liked. He really liked the second episode. And also, he watched a little bit of the third. And people asked him, well, Conor, is it a problem? You know, that it's more of a showing of you being in the gym versus you doing things like Mayweather. And they're trying to paint Mayweather as being, you know, not training, not being focused, not really caring about what it is that's going on. And McGregor's response was, for one, you have to understand that Floyd is the executive producer, one of the executive producers, of Showtime, All Access. And not only that, he's going to paint the picture of that lifestyle. And Floyd has been this way. That's what people don't understand. You have a lot of people who are MMA coming into the boxing world, really getting the first taste of what All Access is. And that's what you get from Floyd Mayweather. He's going to show the lifestyle. And that's nothing new to us boxing fans. The ones who really are tuned in and watch the All Access, who is really focused on the fights and things of that nature. This is what we see from Mayweather, is the lifestyle. But when you talk about other things in magnification to this whole entire fight, was the media day workout with Conor McGregor. And when asked, Conor talked about how, you know, he see everybody making videos, you know, Terrence Crawford, David Haye. He did address David Haye and was saying, he didn't say anything bad about David Haye. He didn't say anything bad about the memes and jokes in particular. But he really talked about why he does that specific thing in the ring. And he was saying it loosens up the shoulders. So you can easily turn a jab, right, into a hook. And he's saying because you can loose the shoulder to where when you throw a jab, in the middle of you throwing that jab, you can transform it into a hook by locking your shoulder. And the only way you can really loose your shoulders like that is by that workout in particular. So that's what he was doing when people were trying to talk about, you know, him warming up and getting prepared. And I was one of them too, because I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know why he was doing it. I didn't know what it represented. I didn't know what it was he was actually trying to focus on. Now, I felt as though he was trying to loosen his shoulders and his arms. You know how you do like the, what is it, like you roll your arms, you know, something like that, 10 forward, 10 backwards, you know. But Conor just added his own style to it. But what he talked about in particular, and the reason why he do what it is he do, it makes a whole lot of sense. And so it was funny in a way for the boxing world. You know, a lot of people was able to laugh about it, joke about it. But when Conor addressed it, he didn't have any kind of ill form. He wasn't upset about anything that was said or anything that, you know, was done as harm to him, because he really didn't care, because he has a purpose and he remains focused. And that's what you have to like about Conor McGregor. Another thing that Conor was talking about, which we have right here, is he going to pick up where he left off in MMA? Right? We know that Dana was talking about they have an interim fight set up with two fighters. And I'm not a big MMA pundit, and I don't know some of the exact names, but they do have an interim championship match that's going to be taking place, I believe, in UFC 215, and the winner can get a shot at Conor McGregor, and it could happen in December because Conor did say he was going to come back and fight for Dana in the UFC and pick right back up where he left off. And not only that, he also addressed the Paulie Malignaggi situation. Paulie calling him out, saying that he wants to fight him. He addressed that as well. And when he addressed that, he said, hey, Paulie needs to fall in line and get on the same boat as everybody else that wants to take a shot at me. And after this fight, maybe we could work something out. So that fight can potentially be in the making because Paulie and Conor McGregor has been very big in the past few weeks because of the sparring footage and stuff that was posted, the photos that was posted. It's a whole lot that was put into the whole Paulie Malignaggi versus Conor McGregor. And it took away a little bit from Mayweather versus McGregor. But it is very smart, though, right? Because it had other eyes who would want to tune in to what's going on based upon what it was that was talked about. And so that I found that to be really good. I was glad that Conor was able to address that and in the manner that he did. And he was in full detail with what it was he addressed. And also, they have agreed, it is official, that they'll be fighting in 8-ounce gloves. And what Dana was saying was the advantages and disadvantage. He was saying for the advantages of Conor is that he hits like a truck. And the fact that he hits like a truck, Floyd, fighting in 8-ounce gloves, don't have big enough gloves in order to be able to stop a shot or catch a shot that's coming from Conor. And what they were saying, the advantages to Mayweather was the fact that Floyd is going to be very quick with 8-ounce gloves. So shouts out to the Nevada Boxing Commission by making this thing possible and let these guys fight in 8-ounce gloves, which sets it up to be a really good fight. A really good fight. And also, Dana was talking about releasing on next week a video of Conor before he started with the UFC. And he was, I believe, before Dana White even knew who Conor McGregor was. Conor was telling him he's going to be the first time. He's going to be the first person to hold 2 titles in UFC history. Not only that, he's going to be signed by UFC and Dana White. And it's basically talking about the history of McGregor, which is going to be running as a promo ad. And it's going to be very cool. Those of you who are McGregor fans, you get an opportunity to see what McGregor was before he was McGregor. Right? Before he was this dominant fighter. But he was a person who had a dream, who had a vision, who set goals for himself, and who is willing to risk it all in order to be considered great in this fight. And another thing that Dana talked about was, one of the questions that were asked was, how did negotiations go in correlation to this fight with Mayweather? And what Dana said was very interesting, because I felt as though this was probably one of the things that got a whole lot of noise in boxing world, was when he was on ESPN and he said, listen, I'll give Conor $25 million and I'll give Floyd $25 million, and then we'll talk about pay-per-view buys on the back end. And then you seen the TMZ video when they asked Floyd, did he see that interview with Dana White on ESPN? And Floyd held his watch out the window and said, you like my watch? You like this right here? And I'm not sure, but they were talking that watch just cost $25 million. So they had to come with more, right? That's the trash talk that you have to love from Mayweather. That's the trash talk that you have to love that started this whole entire thing. Even though these guys was barking at each other and stuff like that, things weren't in negotiation. There was no negotiation set. It was just all trash talk. And outside of that, it really took the forefront when Dana started to say what it was that he said. And that made it very interesting, right? So we were trying to get to number of how much McGregor is going to make in this fight. The numbers haven't been released. All they are saying is Conor is going to make the most money that's going to change not only his life, but his family life for a very long time. And that's pretty much all we're getting. We're not getting a number on how much exactly Conor is going to make in this fight. They do look to supersede all pay-per-view buys ever in pay-per-view history, with this fight being the biggest fight ever. They saying it's looking to reach 1 billion homes. And I believe it, man. Social media right now today, and we talked about this last night on our late night boxing talk. Social media today has transformed the game with fighters. Now, we talked about it on a sense to where how will it affect pay-per-view buys with the live streams, right? But listening to Dana White today, Dana was basically talking about, we're just talking about Conor's fan base. He has fans that's in Brazil, Europe, places like that, right? That's going to buy the pay-per-view and tune in. Ireland itself. Just places like that in general that are going to be touched, who are going to want to see this fight. And the fact that it's going to be in 8-ounce gloves, and it looks to be a really big fight that's going to happen. It's not going to be so much of a pushover because people are saying that, hey, Conor's going to be very competitive. And the fact that they believe in their minds, especially after what happened to Paulie, people are really going to take this fight more serious than anything. And you have a lot of MMA fans who want to see Floyd lose. You have some boxing people who are just a casual fan who want to see Floyd lose. So those are going to be the people who are going to tune in. Now, the people who are the hardcores, the casuals who do watch some boxing, they feel as though, hey, Floyd is going to dominate this fight. There's never really no reason for us to buy this fight. But when next week hit and you know this fight is going to be on the 26th, everybody who said that they're not going to watch this fight, they're going to watch this. Let's just be real. Let's be honest. August 26th, houses will be shut down. Everybody will be in their crib. Businesses will be packed. Places like JR Crickets, Hooters, whatever sports bar that is out there will be showing this fight. Places are going to be packed for people to watch Mayweather McGregor. So to sit there and say they're not going to tune in and watch, everybody's just saying that now. But come fight week next week, and the closer we get to Saturday, you're going to see a whole lot of people who didn't say anything will be saying something. Social media is going to be livid talking about this fight. And it's going to be very interesting to see alone what the pay-per-view buy is going to be. They were talking about just the press tour alone. Dana said that he had about 20 million just on his Facebook of people tuning in. And that's just in LA, when the press tour was in LA. And then he talked about when he surfaced the footage with Paulie Malignaggi so they could hush the noise of what Paulie was talking about. He said that he had over 2 million views on Twitter with that. That's not including, and he said he had about 2 million on Facebook too. And so he wasn't talking about just in general of his social media. That don't even include everybody else's social media who posted it as well. So everybody is tuned in to what is going on in this fight in particular. And this looks to be an awesome weekend of boxing coming up on next week. And this was just a really good interview with Conor and Dana before we get into the final press conference. And then eventually the weigh-in of these two guys meeting each other. I just look for it to be a really good fight. I'm really excited. And another thing we're going to touch on before I let you all go was, how did negotiations go throughout this whole entire ordeal? Because a lot of people want to say, well, Floyd being the A side, he always, make things very difficult come fight week because he's the A side. We seen it with Maidana with the gloves. We seen the issue that he had with Maidana and the gloves. Well, people got to understand, with being an A side, a lot comes with that. But in this fight in particular, Floyd has done a great job. You had Conor talking about he had a problem with 10-ounce gloves, but you got to understand, fighting anything that's above 147, you're going to be in 10 ounces, right? But they made an exception for this fight alone. The Nevada Boxing Commission made an exception for this fight to be in 8-ounce gloves. And who was the one to say let's fight in 8-ounce gloves? Was Floyd Mayweather. He posted that right on his Instagram, right after Conor was talking about the glove issue and how he had a problem with the 10-ounce gloves. Well, Floyd said, let's fight in 8 ounces. And so now the fight is set for these guys to fight in 8-ounce gloves. So we know it's going to be a really good fight. But Mayweather Promotions and Dana White in the UFC have done a great job of working together, putting together a fabulous event, and things just been pretty much intact. So you have to like how all of this is coming together for big fight week. Now tomorrow we have Mayweather media conference call, and we want to see what Floyd is going to say. I'm really looking forward to see what Floyd is going to put out there before media week, right? Before fight week, right? Before the weigh-in, before the final press conference. Is Floyd really going to start, letting us know what is going to be come fight night? I'm looking for him to carry that pretty boy Floyd persona more so than anything. So this looks to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in. Please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. And we will be moving on to the next video. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. I will be back with you all on later tonight. We will have the Steve Forbes interview ongoing. So you'll be able to hear his breakdown of why he turned down sparring with Conor McGregor. And he'll take you back in a little bit of history with him and Mayweather. So it's going to be a really good night. And not only that, I got some more upcoming news for you guys. So stay tuned. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. Make sure you guys have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you soon. Peace.